Good evening, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to our Erev Shabbat service here at Temple Shalom Emeth. And I'd like you to join me in a couple of songs as we warm up and get into the spirit of Shabbat. If you have your Siddur with you, we'll start off with a song called Adonai Ohs, which you'll find at the top of page 642. Adonai Ohs le'amo yitain, Adonai Ohs le'amo yitain, Adonai Ohs le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo, Adonai yivarech et amo. Vashalom, Adonai yivarech et amo. Vashalom, Vashalom. Adonai Ohs le'amo yitain, Adonai Ohs le'amo yitain, Adonai Ohs le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo, Adonai yivarech et amo. And now I hope you'll join me in another song as we get a little more energy into this next one. It's just across on the same two pages, on page 643 at the top of the page. A song that I like very much. We haven't done it as much here, but a few times, and it's called Esa en Enai. And it sounds like this. Esa enai el heharim ve'ayin yavo ezri. Esa enai el heharim ve'ayin yavo ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai Ose shamayim va'aretz. Ezri, Me'im Adonai, Ose Shamayim Va'aretz. Esa enai el heharim ve'ayin yavo Ezri. Esa enai el heharim ve'ayin yavo Ezri. My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. My help comes from Adonai, who made the heavens and earth. Esa enai el heharim ve'ayin yavo Ezri. Enai el heharim me'ayin yavo Ezri, me'ayin yavo Ezri, me'ayin yavo Ezri.
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Rabbi Susan Abramson, for those of you out there, not for those of you in here. Coming to you from the sanctuary of Temple Shalom Emeth in Burlington, Massachusetts, and we are joined by our Cantorial Soloist Ben Silver, our wonderful Cantorial Soloist. And this is a really big night for us in our temple because this is the first night since March of 2020 that we are in person, indoors in our sanctuary, and we're starting off very modestly with just around a minyan or so of people, and hopefully we'll see how this all works, and everybody's vaxxed and masked except for us, and hopefully this is the beginning of something good, or return to something like we were able to have before. So welcome to everybody, and we are now going to begin our service with a lighting of the Shabbat candles, which you may find on page 120. I would like to invite Donna Shachar Meyer to come on up and light the candles for us this evening.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen, 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 amen.
And now that we've lit the lights of Shabbat, we're going to continue by welcoming the Shabbat bride with the singing of L'cha Dodi on page 138.
L'cha Dodi לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת שבת, פני שבת לקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, שם ותפארת בלי הילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לך Mikabela. Verse 5. Itoriri, Itoriri, Kiva Ore, Kumi, Ori, Uri, Uri, Shida Behiri, Kipod Adonai Alai, Nigla, Lechadodi, Lekrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Mikabela, Lechadodi, Lekrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Mikabela. Last verse. Boi v'shalom, Ateret ba'ala, Gam b'simcha, U'tahola, Toch emunei, Am segula, Boi kala, Echadodi, Lekrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Mikabela, Lechadodi, Lekrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Mikabela, Penei Shabbat, Mikabela.
And now that we've lit the lights of Shabbat and welcomed the Shabbat bride, we're going to continue with our second section of our service. That was our Kabbalat Shabbat section, or welcoming of the Sabbath. Now we're going to continue with the second section called the Shema Uvirchoteha, the Shema and Its Blessings, which you may find on page 146 as we rise for the Baruch Hu. Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due, now and forever.
Baruchu et Adonai Hamavorach. Baruch Adonai Hamavorach. Leolam va'ed.
Page 148. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitfuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umasader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, Golil or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzavaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Top of page 149, we read together. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way in which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Page 150.
Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו למדת, אותנו למדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, נגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. And now we continue on pages 152 and 153 with the Shema, the watchword of our Jewish faith. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated and turn the page to 154 and join me in the V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'lechtecha v'derech, uv'shachbecha uv'kumecha, uv'shartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot ben enecha, uv'chtavtaham al mezuzot beitecha, uv'isharecha, lema'an tizkeru, va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, V'yitem kedoshim le'lohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihiyot lachem le'elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
We read together in English. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God, Adonai Elohechem Emet. Now we continue with Mi Chamocha, the song the Israelites sang when they crossed the Red Sea to freedom from Pharaoh's grip, on page 158.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot oseh feleh, Nora tehilot oseh feleh. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam, ve'eli anu v'yamru, ve'eli anu v'yamru. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed.
Praise to you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Continue with the Hashkivenu on page 160, asking God that we may lie down in peace and create a shelter over all of us.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu lishalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu lishalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Ushmor tzeteinu, uvoeinu, L'chaim u'shalom ve'ata v'yad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim.
Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Now we continue on page 162 with the singing of Vishamru. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. B'nei Yisrael, ohod hi le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Now we continue with the next section of our service called the Tephila on page 164, and this is a section of the service where we pray directly to God, thanking God for being the God of our ancestors, the God who gives us strength, and the God who brings us peace. Please rise. You are able.
Anananananana Adonai, Ananananana Svatai Tiftach, Ananananana Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ananananana Adonai, Ananananana Svatai Tiftach, Ananananana Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ananananana Adonai, Ananananana Svatai Tiftach, Ananananana Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ananananana Adonai, Ananananana Svatai Tiftach, Ananananana Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ananananana Adonai, Ananananana Svatai Tiftach, Ananananana Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha.
Page 166.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. Page 168. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מחלקי החיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופך חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני העפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. Page 170. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. We now continue with the singing of Shalom Rav, a song for peace, on page 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'enecha livarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people forever, for you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael, Bashalom. Now we continue with the Misha Berach, Get Well prayer on page 371. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. This evening we think of everybody around the country, all those around the country and around the world who are still suffering from the coronavirus. I'd also like to add the name of Judy Wasserman, member of our congregation. And at this time, if there are names of others you'd like us to keep in our hearts and our minds, we prepare to recite the Misha Berach Get Well prayer. May I say their names aloud as I look across the room.
Mark Jacobs and Cassidy Chestnut.
Barbara Boyle.
May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And let us say, Amen.
Mishe Berach Avotenu Mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Berach imotenu mekor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
I hope anybody out there watching also thought of the names of those they would like to keep in their hearts and minds for the Misha Berach prayer as well. But now, in addition to thinking about all those who need our support, we also think about all the blessings which God has given us. And on Shabbat, we're only supposed to think about our blessings on this Shabbat, this day of rest. And so I'd like us to take a moment to consider everything good that's happening in our lives. And the one big Shehachianu is that we're back here in the sanctuary with people in person. So that's a big reason for a Shehachianu, thanking God for having reached this special moment. And we're going to say a Shehachianu for the Red Sox, who have made it into the American League Finals, which is starting right after this service, not before. So we're thankful for that, and we're thankful for it's really been beautiful weather this week. It's like exceptional weather this week, just right, not too hot, not too cold. The leaves are changing. We're thankful to God for the changing of the seasons and the beauty around us. And if there is other reasons that you're thankful for at this moment, or that we should all be thankful, why don't we just go around and say if you have something special. Come on,
Well,
a little closer. And
My son is doing well on some of his pre-college tests, and he's looking to apply to colleges, and he has one in mind in particular, and things are going well along that line.
excellent. Who out there has something?
Our son and daughter have taken positions, have signed on the dotted line to take positions next year.
Great.
Finally finished with school.
Great. So your son and daughter-in-law have signed on the dotted line. They've finished school and they're starting new positions this coming year. That's awesome.
And we got to spend 3 weeks with our grandchildren.
You got to spend 3 weeks with your grandchildren in South Africa, which was no small feat.
That was wonderful.
Joe.
We didn't know how it would pan out, but Donna is excelling in her new job and really doing quite well.
You didn't know how it would pan out. To me, that wasn't it was no question at all that Donna would be excelling in her new job. Like that, that's obvious to me. But of course, she's a wonderful teacher, as are you. So, and we're thankful for both of you also. Any other? Val?
I'm thankful for the ability to be able to go to visit our son, daughter-in-law, and new grandson in Brooklyn, and that they are going to be coming to visit us for Thanksgiving.
Oh, great.
Excellent. So you're thankful for those online that you were able to go to Brooklyn and visit your son, daughter-in-law, and new grandson, and they'll be coming up here for Thanksgiving. That's wonderful. Excellent. Anything else? All right. Well, with all of that in mind, we're now going to continue with the singing of our Shehachianu prayer, thanking God for enabling us to reach this wonderful moment.
And please join me in this prayer. I think you know it. Especially the first words. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
two Shechiam Ma'anus that I forgot to add were, I'm thankful for Mindy and for subbing in our Bet and Gimel classes this Sunday. Thank you, Shechianu. Hope it continues. And we're thankful for Phyllis for being our temple matriarch. We're always thankful for that. And with all of those positive thoughts in mind, we're going to pause for a brief moment of silent prayer. Now we continue with, in addition to my being thankful for Ben, with our singing of Osei Shalom on page 180.
I'm thankful to be here. Osei Shalom Bimromav Uya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Israel V'imru Amen. Osei Shalom Bimromav Uya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Osei Shalom Bimromav Uya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Osei Shalom Bimromav Uya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen.
And now I'm just going to, I meant to do this at the beginning of the service, but I already flubbed that up. So I did want to just say a word or two about this week's Torah portion, because it happens to be one of my favorite Torah portions in the whole Torah. It's called Lech Lecha, which means go forth, and it's the time, it tells the story about how God calls Abram to leave his father's house, the land of his birth, and to go forth on his journey to a land that God will show him. And so one question that I brought to my mind when I was reading this was, Lech Lecha, why does it say, in Hebrew, when you want to say go, you say Lech if you're male. So why does it say Lech Lecha? Why does it say it twice? And I think that's for emphasis, but also the emphasis of what I wanted to discuss in the blessing that what God tells him that comes right after it. It says, I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and curse him that curses you. And all the families of the earth shall bless themselves by you. So to me, there are two ways in which God tells Abram that he is going to be a blessing. One is that he's going to make of Abram a great nation, meaning the future Israelite people will rise up from Abram, or later Abraham in this Torah portion, and his descendants. And then, secondly, and all the families of the earth shall bless themselves by you. Abram is not going to just be great or create the great nation of Israel, but Abraham is going to be a blessing to all the nations and help to make the world a better place in general. So to me, Lech Lecha, go forth. At this time of the year in particular, we're changing the seasons. We're kind of at the end of the high holidays, and we're going forth into a new year. And this is really the time when we're putting everything that we experience for the high holidays into action. On Rosh Hashanah, we thought about our goals for our lives for this coming year. On Yom Kippur, we thought about our values and how we've behaved and how we want to behave in the future. And Sukkot Simchat Torah, we rejoiced in celebrating the Torah and the values of the Jewish people. So now it's time for all of us to lech lecha, to go forth. And for me, it's very important that we not just keep the Jewish people going. That's our first goal as Jews, which is talked about in lech lecha, but also to, as part of our Jewish identity, to make the world a better place and to bring goodness and values and improve the situation of all the peoples around the world. Because as a Jew, we're not just commanded to innovate ourselves, but to make the world a better place. So, and I think about this week, just this week in our congregation, there have been two ways in which we've been living out these words. First of all, our religious school has started, and that's going great, and we have our FAB group tomorrow for empty nesters, people getting together to socialize and enhance our sense of community. We're having these Shabbat services for our community. But we've also, this week, we had our social justice meeting. We talked about how our initiative on resolving racism has been going. Just today, I talked to somebody at the JCRC about possibly sponsoring or helping to sponsor an Afghani family. This coming week, Jill Kornetsky, who grew up in our congregation, is going to speak about her trip from how she was rescued from Afghanistan and what that was like, and talk about ways in which that we can help the situation there. So really, lech lecha to me means go forth on your journey and help the Jewish people to continue to survive and thrive, and lecha, go forth and help to all the issues that come in before us to improve those situations in the world as we see them. And I just saw a meme today on Facebook. I'll end with that, and I'm going to flub that up also. But it was something like if you don't have some time to do something that's important, you need to think about what you're spending your time doing. So I think that we really need to think about the fact that we need to spend our time making the world a better place. And if we don't have time to do that, we really need to reconsider the way that our journey is going. So that's my little insights into this week's Torah portion, Lech Lecha. And now we're going to continue with the Aleinu on page 586. I'd like to invite Joe and Donna to come on up and open the Ark curtain. Please rise for the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
I like how your sweater matches the Torah cover. I know you dressed with that in mind. Of course. Thank you. Please be seated.
And please turn to page 588 and join me in Shehu Noteh Shamayim. Shehu Noteh Shamayim v'yoser haaretz u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'ah u'shkinatu zo begavhei meheromim u'Eloheinu ein od emet malkeinu efes zulato kaktahato b'torahato v'yadata hayom v'hashivota elevahavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim b'shamayim mima'ah v'aharetz מתחת אין עוד, אין עוד. Page 591.
With a guitar.
Please join me in our
My
favorite version.
My favorite version.
Right, our favorite version. I
Our
like it
favorite
too.
version.
Bayom Hahu. Just happen to have my guitar on. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד אחד ושמו אחד אחד ושמו אחד.
Now we continue with the introduction to the Kaddish prayer, which you may find on page 599. We think now of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at the season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. We recall those who the anniversary of whose deaths or whose yard sites occur this week: Judah Rubin, Jack Pearson, Shirley Schulman. At this time, if there are names of others you'd like us to keep in our hearts and our minds, you may say their names as I look across the room. We think of all those who have died of the COVID disease and those who have died around the world. And at this time, those of you who are out there may add your own names of those loved ones or friends who may have passed away at the season in years past or recently. Zichronam livracha, may all of their memories be for a blessing. Return to page 598 and rise if we are able to recite the Kaddish prayer. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'yizman kari v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach l'olam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudesha barichu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to our country, to all Israel and all the world, as we say together, amen. You may be seated. Kiddush?
Sure.
Okay.
Anybody coming up?
Yes, Joe is coming up to lead us in the Kiddush on page 122 and 123. Please rise. Let me just read the bottom here.
The heaven and the earth were finished. Thank you. And all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, Shabbat kodesho b'yahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom Tephila l'mikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziat mitzrayim, ki vanu v'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha b'yahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. Well done.
Well done.
Now I'd like to invite Ellen and Richard to come on up for the motzi. Need to keep them either in the frame or out of the
Okay.
frame.
I'm looking for a page.
And by the way, not only did Ellen bake the challah, but she also baked a gluten-free challah, which I'm really looking forward to tasting after this. I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. We're going to enjoy that right after the service. For our outdoor oneg, you may be seated. And our closing song this evening, by the way, we're just a quick announcement. We're intending to continue having these Shabbat services indoors with a limited seating. So if you're interested in coming to a future Shabbat service, contact Ellen Finkelman, whose email is on the email that everybody from the temple, in the temple community receives. And next Tuesday, I really advise everybody to join us for our Zoom program with Jill Kornetsky on her escape from Afghanistan. And just today, the program got that much better. Diane, it would have been enough if we had Jill talking about how she escaped, but Nisha Suarez, who is Seth Moulton's aide, who is actually the one who got her out of Afghanistan, is also going to join us for that program. So we're going to hear from Jill's personal escape, and we're going to hear from Nisha what she had to do to get Jill out. So it should be really great. And for anybody out there, if you want the Zoom link, I sent out the Zoom link in the announcements yesterday. We'll send out a reminder, but it should be a really interesting program. And also, as again, we'll have a Tikkun Olam element, figuring out if there's a way in which we can help the situation there.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So
now we do our closing song. I hope you'll join me in this, and it's again on page 642. And we'll sing Al Shlosha Devarim. The world is sustained by three things: Torah, worship, and deeds of loving kindness. This is a contemporary version of Al Shlosha Devarim. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Ha'olam Omed, Al Shlosha Devarim, Ha'olam Omed, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Ha'olam Omed, al shlosha devarim. Ha'olam, ha'olam omed. Al haTorah, yal ha'avodah, yal gemilut hasadim. Al haTorah, yal ha'avodah, yal gemilut hasadim. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, ha'olam omed, al shlosha devarim. Al shlosha devarim, ha'olam omed, al shlosha devarim.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat
Play us
Shalom.
out.